Hey everyone, this is Sergeant Danger Cow, and welcome to episode 19 of Chewing the Cud. More or less straight on the hoofs of episode 18, which is unusual for me, as most of you know, but with good reason. After yesterday's reveal of Battlefield 1, for which I am quite hyped, although I would have liked to have seen a little bit of actual in-game footage, but once that reveal has happened, we're now probably going to have a period of closed beta and then open beta, and with that comes the crushing wave of inevitability that is the God Gun video. I've mentioned in previous episodes why I hate these videos, but only really in passing, so I thought I'd be more specific in this video, in a vain attempt to expose them for the bullshittery that they are. Before I begin, I should point out that I'm ignoring snipers and shotguns, because despite my loathing of shotguns being turned into anything but a close-up and personal weapon by the attachments, they are designed to be one or two shot kill weapons. Furthermore, with the exception of the USAS, none of these weapons has been described as OP. So let's start with the question of what makes people consider a gun OP. Basically put, a gun is considered OP if it is too accurate, too fast firing, or has too high damage, or a combination of any of those. In BF3, the big complaint was about the M16. In BF4 there was the FAMAS, and then the AWS, and then the Bulldog, and there are other reasons born from psychology, but I'll get to those in a bit. People's argument in chat over the OP virtue of a gun is generally loaded with stats based in the fire rate and damage. What is totally ignored is how the gun is balanced with recoil, stability, and etc. So now we come to why no gun is a God gun. I was going to add a whole section of maths here, but frankly my brain began to hurt and I realised that the new game will have different guns and gun stats, so there seemed little point. When it comes to gun selection, it is always better to have a holistic view. The holistic view takes into account not only the mitigation of damage and fire rate by the handling stats, but also the ability of the player using the gun and the tactical smarts of the player. The main argument against the Bulldog was that it could kill you with 4 bullets, but without most players recognising that a player actually had to be able to hit another player with those 4 bullets before the other player could hit them with their terminal amount. Furthermore, it also ignored completely the question of damage aggregate. For example, 700 rounds per minute at 30 damage over 3 seconds is an aggregate base damage of 990, because you can't have 0.8 of a bullet. However, 850 rounds per minute at 24 damage over 3 seconds is an aggregate base damage of 1008. Those are the figures from the patched Bulldog and F2000 respectively. So the F2000 has a higher fire rate and damage aggregate, and additionally it scores higher against the Bulldog in every stat listed in Battlelog other than damage. Although the handling is often pointed out in these God Gun videos, what never seems to be discussed is what type of gunplay it might suit, or what kind of player. For example, if you were to run into a confined space, rate and fire and damage are your best friends, followed by hip accuracy. But what if you aren't so great at hip firing yourself? What if that deficiency is compounded by not being tactically smart, by running straight into an area rather than observing any fire patterns or corners or areas covered by friendlies and so on? The thing that is the massive, gaping hole in the concept of a God Gun is the player themselves. So what do God Gun videos do? Well, firstly, they give false hope. Hope that by using this gun, the player will have a significant advantage in all soldier versus soldier situations, other than versus a sniper. As pointed out above, the player does not take into account their style of play, ability, or tactical smarts, simply because they are told, with this gun, you will rule all. This then leads to 2 further problems. Firstly, it significantly undermines the player's desire to learn, improve, or recognise the importance of tactical knowledge. And because of that, secondly, players who take whatever they are presented as the God Gun are prone to accuse because they simply can't believe they have been beaten fairly by someone with a different weapon. Another problem with God Gun videos is they create a vicious circle. Because of people's natural desire to have a weaponry edge, otherwise known as escalation, once a gun is called a god gun, it permeates through the battlefield until it is used by almost everyone. And this ubiquitous use means that every time someone sees the kill card, they see X god gun. This creates an illusion that the gun is OP because they keep getting killed by it. So not only does the vicious circle create the concept and illusion of the god gun, but it also encourages those that don't have it to get it, and so the circle completes. Finally, god gun videos, because of the concept they create as a byproduct, also create hate. Hate against the gun, sure, but mainly hate against players that use it. I've lost count of the number of times I've seen Ace 23 noob, AK noob, Bulldog noob, etc. being thrown around chat. The gift of the god gun video then is not a god gun, or a method to lay waste to your opposition. It is a specious, toxic creation serving only to inhibit the growth of a player within a game and serves nothing other than clicks on a YouTube channel. Before I sign off, I want to point out that I oppose ideas and concepts, not people. This is not an attack on people who create these videos, it is an attack on the idea of a god gun. That's all from me this week, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the battlefield.